Yet,
MCMG.
yet he said he wasn't coming back to New Japan, and then what happened? He won the freaking IC title. Let me talk about that for a second. Everyone flips their because Brock Lesnar's the Universal Champion, and he's a part-timer, right?
Okay.
Chris Jericho's the IC Champion in New Japan,
Ooh!
and he's a part-timer. And nobody.
If you're in the Discord, this was an argument that we literally had. Like, we had a very full-fledged argument about. Yeah, exactly this.
And everyone's all happy that he's the IC champion, but he's a part-timer that you don't even know when his next match is going to be.
If you're not part of the Discord, dude, you guys are missing out because we talked about this the other day. So let's. You want to talk about it? You really want to get into this?
Sure.
Okay. So this is where I am standing on it. You can't compare the two title reigns. You cannot compare them. You know why?
Why?
Because it's very easy for Brock to show up to any event to defend whenever. But when it comes to New Japan, titles are only really defended at certain shows.
But champions are on all the shows.
Champions are on every show. That's right. But the fact of the matter is, why would you have Jericho show up if he's not going to be defending that title? It cost, and this, I guess you could make the same exact argument for Lesnar. And I'm sure it doesn't cost as much to get Jericho on those shows as it does Lesnar to a show in the States. But those are those two promotions run completely differently. It's like comparing, I can drive automatic, then I should be able to drive stick.
But that's not my point. My point is the fans. The fans don't like that Brock is a part-time champion, but they don't mind that Jericho is a part-time champion. That's my thing.
You're also forgetting Jericho's not going to UFC shouting at Cormier. Jericho isn't showing up to his matches and half-assing them. He's putting his whole heart in that one knee code breaker, which is the coolest code breaker.
No, I don't.
It's because when you get a Jericho match, you know you're going to get a match that you enjoy. When you get a Brock match, you really, really got to hope that it's with a guy that Brock likes.
But the whole thing that people are mad about, it's like, he's the champion. The champion should be on the show.
There are two... No, he doesn't. No. God, no. That's not true. Where do you stand on this? Should the champion be on the show?
Yeah.
Where the did you just drop? Did you just drop your fucking argument?
A pen rolled off the desk.
Yeah, why do you have a pen?
Because I take notes.
On the show?
Sometimes.
Why? So we're never going to talk about this again.
It's called time cues, buddy.
Oh, that's right. Time cues. That's a good one, man. So, these are two completely different promotions.
True.
When the fans, if you're an outside fan and you kind of know New Japan, you kind of know WWE, you know that Brock Lesnar doesn't show up, then I can understand thinking, man, this Jericho thing, isn't he just like Lesnar? But if you look at us who are the hardcore fans, and if you're in this, all 92 of my closest friends in here are 98 hardcore wrestling fans, then they're going to see, okay, these are two different promotions, which is a completely different argument. Like, Jericho will show up and he will put on a phenomenal match no matter who he's with. Brock, you got to hope he's with the right guy. Not only that, you can kind of defend that title at any pay-per-view when it comes to Brock Lesnar. You can defend that at like a Battlegrounds or some shit like that, or Great Balls of Fire. But when it comes to Jericho winning that IC title in New Japan, it's a completely different argument. Because there's only like certain shows that he can defend him at.
Okay.
And God knows he doesn't want to work in the States, so all of those state shows are out of the question.
But that's only, 3?
Yeah, maybe.
But here's my thing. New Japan, the reason they may not have the titles defended all the time, but they have the champions on the show, is because the champions will lose in tag matches, setting up their next opponent. How do you set up Jericho's next opponent for the IC title when there's nobody for him to set it, when he's not there to set anything up? Like, if you think about it, last year in the G1, Okada lost to Evil. Who was his opponent with the title on the line in October? Evil.
Hold on.
Okay.
How did Jericho set up the stuff with Naito? Showed up out of nowhere, beat the out of him.
Yeah, who's gonna show up out of? How do you show up out of nowhere and beat the out of Jericho? You show up at a Fozzy concert. You send someone like a Jay White to. You send Jay White to a Fozzy concert, attack him on stage. He's up there. I'm a Jude. Ah, Jay White, Switchblade.
Oh, I'm just picturing Jay White in like a mask in the crowd. He's like, yeah, and then he comes up and she says, "Oh God, that's fucking hilarious. That's really fucking good." Oh God, but I mean, I don't know. You could, maybe it's Cruise. That's Cruise is until fucking October.
Yeah, and
Jeez.
October's when they usually have one of the bigger New Japan shows where the title does get defended.
Is any of the New Japan roster going to be on that cruise? Besides
the guys that work in Ring of Honor, like Hangman and Skrull and
but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
the Ring of Honor guys. Kenny.
Yeah.
I think Kenny's booked for the cruise.
Jay White winning the G1 Climax?
Oh, of course Kenny's booked for the cruise. It's Alpha Club versus Bullet Club. Duh.